Welcome to NeuroNexus Earth. In the annals of American crime, few cases evoke the same chilling fascination as that of the Zodiac Killer. For over half a century, this unidentified serial killer has haunted the collective psyche, leaving behind a legacy of terror, taunting letters and cryptic ciphers that continue to baffle investigators and amateur sleuths alike. This is a story of a killer who craved the spotlight, a phantom who played a deadly game with the police and the press, and who, to this day, has never been brought to justice. The story begins in the late 1960s, a time of supposed peace and love in Northern California. But beneath the surface of this counterculture movement, a dark shadow was emerging. On December 20th, 1968, on a secluded lover's lane in Benicia, high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were shot and killed. It was a brutal and seemingly random act of violence that marked the beginning of the Zodiac's reign of terror. 6 months later, on the 4th of July 1969, the killer struck again. Darlene Ferrin and Michael McGough were shot in their car in a park in Vallejo. Ferrin died from her injuries, but McGough miraculously survived, providing the first description of the attacker, a heavy-set man with a large face. Just an hour after the attack, a chilling phone call was made to the Vallejo Police Department. A man's calm voice confessed to both the recent shooting and the murders of the two teenagers the previous December. But the Zodiac wasn't content with just confessing. He wanted infamy. In August 1969, 3 San Francisco Bay Area newspapers received letters from the killer. In these rambling, misspelled messages, he took credit for the attacks and included a 3-part cipher that he claimed held his identity. He also threatened more killings if his letters weren't published on the front page. This was the first time the world was introduced to the killer's chilling moniker and his now infamous cross-circle symbol. A week later, a high school teacher and his wife, Donald and Betty Hardin, cracked the 408-symbol cipher. The message was not a confession of identity, but a terrifying glimpse into a twisted mind. It read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun." He also spoke of collecting slaves for the afterlife. The Zodiac's game had begun, and the public was gripped with fear. The attacks continued. In September 1969, the killer, now wearing a bizarre executioner-style hood, stabbed college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard at Lake Brescia. Shepard tragically succumbed to her injuries, but Hartnell survived to recount the horrifying ordeal. Then, in October, the Zodiac took his reign of terror into the heart of San Francisco, shooting and killing cab driver Paul Stein in his taxi. As a final act of audacity, he sent a piece of Stein's blood-soaked shirt to the San Francisco Chronicle as proof of his crime. The investigation into the Zodiac Killer became one of the most extensive and frustrating in U.S. history, with thousands of individuals being investigated. Over the years, numerous suspects have been named, but one has consistently remained at the center of speculation: Arthur Leigh Allen. A former schoolteacher and convicted sex offender, Allen was the only suspect ever publicly named by authorities. Circumstantial evidence seemed to point in his direction. He was in the vicinity of some of the crimes and allegedly made incriminating statements. However, fingerprint and handwriting analyses never conclusively linked him to the letters, and DNA evidence from the stamps and envelopes later proved inconclusive. Allen died in 1992, taking any potential secrets to his grave. For decades, the case went cold, but the Zodiac's legacy endured, his unsolved ciphers a constant challenge to codebreakers around the world. Then, in December 2020, a breakthrough. A team of amateur sleuths from the United States, Australia, and Belgium cracked the infamous 340 cipher, which had remained a mystery for 51 years. The message, once again, was a taunt. "I hope you are having lots of fun and trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner, because I now have enough slaves to work for me." Despite this incredible feat, the identity of the Zodiac Killer remains elusive. The case officially remains open in several jurisdictions. In recent years, independent groups like the Casebreakers have claimed to have identified the killer, pointing to another deceased suspect, Gary Francis Post. They cite alleged forensic evidence and eyewitness accounts, but law enforcement has not confirmed their findings. The Zodiac Killer claimed to have murdered 37 people, though only 5 have been definitively linked to him. He terrorized a region, toyed with the media, and created a mythos that has outlived his violent spree. Was he a twisted genius or just a lucky criminal? Will his true identity ever be known? The case of the Zodiac Killer is a chilling reminder that some mysteries are never solved and some monsters are never caught. Thank you for joining us on NeuroNexus Earth.